Finally, we welcome the Honorable Christen and the Honorable Sharon Gleason. Judge Christen is nominated to be a circuit judge for the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and Judge Gleason nominated to be a district judge for the District of Alaska. Judge Christen and Judge Gleason will be introduced today by their home state senators, Senator Murkowski and Senator Begich. Senator Murkowski, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's not very often that I get to come to the Judiciary Committee to introduce Alaskans to you, so today is a special treat. As Senator Carper said, it's a special day for Delaware as he made the introduction. It's not only special for Alaskans, today is a historic day for us in Alaska. We're a very young state. We're just a little over 50 years old as a state, and since Alaska was admitted as a state, only 2 Alaskans have served on the Ninth Circuit. It was Robert Buchever, who was appointed by President Carter back in 1980, and then Andrew Kleinfeld, appointed by President Bush in 1991. Both of these individuals are currently on senior status. The President has nominated Justice Christen to succeed Judge Kleinfeld on the Ninth Circuit. Further, only 10 individuals have served on the U.S. District Court for Alaska. None of those individuals on either court have been a woman. So while it's historic whenever a vacancy arises on either court, today's hearing is especially historic because, if confirmed, Morgan Christen and Sharon Gleason will be the first 2 Alaska women to serve on the federal bench. As a member of the Alaska Bar and as a senior senator from Alaska, let me say that the President could not have nominated 2 more qualified individuals to fill these seats. And in saying that, I speak not only for myself, but for also a broad segment of those who are involved in the justice system in Alaska. Both Justice Christen and Judge Gleason are products of the Alaska court system and won their positions through a merit selection process. That merit selection process was created by the Alaska Constitution. It was intended, really, to keep politics out of the judicial selection process. And we are very proud of that system. Before an individual may serve on an Alaska court, he or she is broadly vetted by the Alaska Judicial Council, which is a nonpartisan and independent body consisting of citizen and attorney members. Every candidate is formally evaluated on issues like integrity, professional competence, fairness, judicial temperament, and suitability of experience. I think if you were to ask any Alaskan attorney about the rigor of this process, I think you would get pretty much the same answer. The grading is tough, and for those who aren't up to the challenge, they are told no in no uncertain terms. But both Judge Christen and Judge Gleason have survived this selection process, and I think survived it most admirably. I should point out that Justice Christen has survived this process now twice. Once before, she was appointed to the Superior Court by Democratic Governor Tony Knowles, and again before she was appointed to the Alaska Supreme Court by Republican Governor Sarah Palin. Now, if that doesn't speak itself to Justice Christen's exceptional integrity and competence for a judicial role, I would also point out to you that Justice Christen received the highest score of all candidates for the Supreme Court seat within that vetting process. Under Alaska's system, state judges must stand for periodic retention elections. Prior to those elections, they are vetted once again by the Judicial Council through polls of peace and probation officers, jurors, social workers, fellow judges, and practicing attorneys. This information then provides the Judicial Council with an evidentiary basis to make a recommendation to the public on whether or not the judge should be retained. I would note that Justice Christen and Judge Gleason have both participated in this very rigorous retention process, and each has been returned to the bench by the voters with an affirmative recommendation of the Judicial Council. I have known Justice Christen for almost 25 years now. We graduated from law school just about the same time. We both clerked for the Alaska State Court system just about the same time. We've kept in touch over the years, and I've come to know her husband, Jim, and her family. I have appreciated that Justice Christen has been mindful of the separation of powers throughout her judicial career, and mindful of the fact that her personal views have no bearing when it's time to determine what the rule of law is. And I know that we can expect her to continue in that vein when she moves to the federal bench. Judge Gleason was appointed to the Anchorage Superior Court by Governor Knowles back in 2001. She was last evaluated for retention by the Alaska Judicial Council in 2010. Her rating by each of the stakeholder groups polled as part of the Alaska Judicial Council's retention process was again among the highest of all the Superior Court judges in the state. In 2009, when Christen was elevated to the Alaska Supreme Court, Judge Gleason was appointed to become the presiding judge of the 3rd Judicial District. That position is responsible for overseeing nearly 70% of the caseload of the entire state trial courts and includes 40 judges and 20 magistrates. Like Justice Christen, Judge Gleason is exceptionally well qualified to serve, and I strongly support her nomination. I appreciate the opportunity again to speak to the committee on behalf of 2 exceptional judges from the state of Alaska and would encourage confirmation through the process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Murkowski. Senator Begich.
Thank you very much. Chairman Coons, committee members, thank you for the opportunity to join Senator Murkowski in introducing 2 of Alaska's finest judges who have been nominated for federal appointments. I know both of these candidates quite well, have worked with them for years and recommended both to President Obama for the positions he has nominated them for. Let me start with Judge Christen. Morgan and I have known each other for more than a decade. I've worked with her in her capacity as a judge and as a member of nonprofit boards. When I was elected mayor of Anchorage in 2003, she was the presiding judge for Alaska's 3rd Judicial District. It's there we worked especially closely together on a task force that I created to address gangs in South Central Alaska, our state's largest population center. We also worked together to better coordinate the technology used by the municipality of Anchorage, the Anchorage Police Department, and the State of Alaska court system. From that work, I can say without reservation that Judge Christen is a person of great integrity, ability, and compassion. She has built an excellent reputation in Alaska's legal circles for fairness, thoroughness, and sound professional judgment. Alaska's judicial system is set up to be nonpartisan, and Morgan certainly is. Her fellow lawyers have given her the highest marks over the years, and she has the support of the Alaska public through her retention elections. To her credit, she is deeply committed to public service. As a lifelong Alaskan, I also appreciate that Judge Christen has traveled extensively in our state and knows its diversity. I'm confident that Morgan will be an excellent judge on the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals. The Alaskan nominated for our state's U.S. District Court, who will be on your second panel, is Judge Sharon Gleason. Like with Morgan, I know Sharon well. She was appointed to the Anchorage Superior Court by Governor Tony Knowles, who was my boss when he served as mayor of Anchorage. On the court, Judge Gleason has presided over a large variety of cases, including complex civil litigation, divorce and custody proceedings, child in need of aid proceedings, and criminal cases. After Judge Christen was nominated to Alaska Supreme Court, Judge Gleason was appointed to become the presiding judge of the 3rd Judicial District. That position is responsible for overseeing nearly 70% of the caseload of the entire state trial courts and includes 40 judges and 20 magistrates. Her record as a judge has been excellent. She is widely praised for her temperament, her fairness on the bench, and especially her pioneering work on behalf of families and children. For that work, she was awarded the prestigious Light of Hope Award. Sharon is active in her community, serving on numerous legal committees. And I think the way she relaxes is with her clarinet, which she's been playing in the Anchorage Symphony Orchestra for more than 25 years. Mr. Chairman, and to the committee members, my only regret, and I know Senator Murkowski's regret too, is recommending these 2 outstanding Alaskans is that Alaska state's courts will lose 2 of their finest when these 2 outstanding judges move to the federal bench. But our federal judiciary and our country will be much better off. Thank you for this opportunity to introduce again 2 fine Alaskan judges.
Thank you very much, Senators Murkowski and Begich. From your description, it sounds as if Alaska has a remarkably thorough, nonpartisan, and effective means of selecting qualified and talented judges. as someone who had the honor of clerking for Judge Jane Roth on the Third Circuit, who also just happened to be the first woman on the federal bench in Delaware, and an incredible, outstanding judicial contributor to Delaware's legal culture for a generation. I'm grateful to hear your introductions of the two outstanding nominees from Alaska. Thank you very much for joining us today.